Meanwhile, let me introduce our guests. First, everyone knows Tosif already. He's CBDO at IO.net. And we have Riz. Riz, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. So my name is Vlad, and I'm Chief of Staff at Rivalz. Currently, I'm kind of leading the our AI Oracle initiatives. And yeah, I've been in the space for a couple of years now, from like gaming, now switching more into AI and AI agents. So it's been an exciting journey so far, and I just looking forward to what the future holds for us.
Great. So could you explain what Rivalz do?
Yeah, so we are kind of figuring out what is initially when we started the project, there was kind of the topic of okay, what was the main problem, or what do we see in the market, or specifically in AI that it's not fixed, but we think we can build infrastructure and be able to fix it. And this question is that a lot of LLMs or agents, and agents at the time were a pretty new thing. Honestly, I don't think when we started with Rival's agents was really such a trending topic. It was like just starting, but no one really knew what this is. But we figured out that a lot of these AIs, let's just put them in one term, AIs, are in their own silos. So basically, kind of jailed and don't have access to the outside world. And what we figured is we can create an infrastructure, which we're referring to the world abstraction layer, where we are abstracting away any complexities that require AI to access the real world. So all of our product lineup focuses on bringing AI closer to the world that we know, in terms of giving access to agents, to AI, to connectivity, to data, to resources, to even access to digital services, and maybe even potentially bringing humans to help AI with their tasks instead of having AI help us, but then just be helping them doing more of what they can do for us. So this is, in short, what our mission is about.
Awesome. So when I visit Reveal's account on X, I see mentioning of Rome economy. So like could you briefly explain that? And like what inspired you to like create the Rome economy and like where services are transformed into tokenized R agents as well.
Yeah, so to give a little bit context, Rome is our swarm protocol and AI agent orchestration system. And the main thing that we're doing inside of Rome is we have AI agents which focus or actually are based on a specific resource. So any resource, like let's say even your Twitter account, or a service, or maybe even a physical good, can be attached to a specific agent, and this agent will have the access or utility to use that resource to do different tasks, etc. Like the simple thing that you can imagine is, let's say, a post on Twitter. So you can have a bunch of agents where, let's say, io.net has a swarm on our ROM protocol. Users are minting agents, which they connect with their Twitter accounts. All of those Twitter accounts can be activated by the swarm, which in this case could be Ionet as the owner. And all of these
Sorry guys, we had technical difficulties, but now we can continue.
Yeah, so should I move on with my answer, or we should wait for a little bit for people to rejoin?
We can wait for a minute, I think.
Okay. Yeah, just give me a signal.
Yeah, I think Bitcoin hit all-time highs. That was the reason why the space got crashed.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
It's probably like the most bullish AMA right now. I think we should change the topic more to Bitcoin and have it just like have a Bitcoin watch party basically instead of
Yeah, we can turn it into live spaces. We can just display Bitcoin's current price, and then yeah, I
I
think a bunch of people will join.
honestly it might be even more attractive to people. Basically, you've seen it live type of shit.
Yeah, yeah. I think we can continue now.
Yeah. So what I was going on with Rome, just to kind of wrap it up quickly, because we lost some time in the process. Um, in simple things, we have swarms, which are basically a collective of all of these AI agents. And those AI agents have access to a specific resource, which they can utilize to do different tasks. So imagine you want to run a decentralized LLM. You ask, or you mint all of these agents that have access to compute resources. Maybe they come from Maya.net, for example. And you have that agent, which we have identified the service from Maya.net for the compute. And once users take agents towards your swarms, you can utilize that compute to run your LLM models, for example. That's kind of part of the Rome economy. That's till now. And with our next iteration, what we're trying to bring on is create a more open market here, where all these agents will have even access to more resources. Some of them will even have tokens inside of them that they can manage or use to stake, to earn yield, and to even purchase access to these services that projects can use. And this will be more like an open marketplace for those agents to even be traded on, swapped, etc.
Got it. And so, for example, with those R agents, they are in NFT form, right? And we can do optimized token staking as well.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. So, over to you, Tasif. From IO.net's perspective, what are the key opportunities and challenges for platforms like Rivalz in adopting decentralized GPU solutions? So, like particularly for processing real time data across swarms or enabling our agents to interact with services.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, in terms of opportunities, um, I think the opportunities are truly kind of limitless here, right? In terms of what swarms of AI agents through Rival's Rome protocol can really leverage, like especially when it comes to working with someone like IO.net and other like decentralized compute networks, because any sort of compute swarm, or sorry, like an agent swarm, is really going to um, essentially as we talked about, kind of the any agent swarm is really going to need to swap a number of different resources across all of the different agents within the swarm itself and across other swarms potentially, right? As they're going about trying to accomplish their directive, trying to optimize for like a specific goal or mission. As most of these sort of like individual agents within these swarms try to optimize towards their directive, I think one key factor that's always going to be potentially a bottleneck and they'll have to continuously optimize for and plan for is compute, right? And we've talked in previous spaces, and I've mentioned this before. I think to kind of like truly have like a autonomous agent economy, that kind of truly lives and breathes on the internet and isn't necessarily sort of bottlenecked by anything centralized. Like you could have these agent swarms like plugged into centralized compute sources, but of course that kind of brings a whole host of challenges just in terms of scalability, like KYC protocols, support systems, like like working on like fiat rails and traditional banking system and like the traditional banking system, that like it's a lot of kind of issues for an AI agent to manage and friction points for an AI agent to manage, um, as it kind of goes about to, as the swarm goes about to complete its directive. But in reality, the alternative that exists is with a solution like IONET, and a decentralized compute protocol, when a lot of these AI agents can get over those challenges of having permissionless access to compute, by just plugging directly into these decentralized compute protocols. And I think especially as we kind of think of these agents as sort of like virtual beings with their own wallets, NFTs, tokens, and kind of really participating in an open economy. Compute will be sort of like a key asset, and commodity within that economy that's going to be constantly traded and needs to be traded permissionlessly in order for these swarms to be able to perform in the most like effective and efficient manner. So that's kind of like the way I see the intersection between, agent swarms, like what Rivalz is building, and some of the decentralized compute work that we're doing at Ionet.
Awesome. Like, so you touched on some sectors. Like, are there specific sectors like DeFi, healthcare, or supply chain logistics, like where you see like both organizations, IO.net and Rivalz, creating significant impact? Could you like elaborate on that? Like, give more, little bit like more examples, and then how does IONET's decentralized compute support Rivalz our agents in these domains as well?
Yeah, I can talk about that a little bit more. So I think, one of the areas where I kind of see um, the most like fit in terms of where we'll kind of see, AI agent swarms evolve is specifically around the idea of like DAOs, right? Like decentralized autonomous organizations. So I think like the idea of a DAO has been around for a while. There's been a lot of folks who have built DAOs, experimented with DAOs. There's a lot of successful DAOs out there too, but I think the actual kind of idea, like the true vision of what a DAO makes possible isn't necessarily fully realized yet because, obviously everyone who's a part of a DAO right now is a human, and there's a lot of like friction points when it comes to humans having to use DAOs and like governance processes and things like that. And it kind of just makes everything really slow in terms of how a DAO can move. And I think that acts as kind of like a competitive disadvantage for DAOs when they're trying to go up against centralized organizations who are trying to do um, the same thing or trying to build a company in the same space. So I think DAOs have kind of typically been sort of have had their arms tied behind their back so far. But I kind of see with AI agent swarms becoming a thing, that the vision of DAOs kind of being truly realized in the future, right? Because once you sort of effectively set the parameters and the targets and the boundaries and restrictions of what the ultimate directive of the DAO is, and then set, assign a number of AI agents or a swarm to that DAO to kind of go about and accomplish that mission, I think we'll start to see DAOs become a lot more effective in terms of competing with centralized organizations, and in hopefully in the near future being able to essentially supersede these centralized organizations as well. And I think similar to kind of like how Ionic would fit into this, with any DAO, one of the key aspects of it is the treasury and the governance around that treasury, and sort of like how uh, like the treasurers of the DAO really want to manage risk around that, how they want to manage asset allocation, what are kind of like the key things to hold on the books, and where do they kind of see that they need to spend resources to kind of continue to propel the DAO forward. And a DAO that's primarily made of AI agents and an AI agent swarm, a large part of the DAO treasury management will be directed towards managing effective access to compute resources, right? And with DAO treasuries kind of like really being mostly on chain, that kind of creates a natural fit between, um, you know, the DAO treasury sort of like management format plus decentralized compute protocols like IONET, where some of these AI agent forms could potentially hold the native IONET token within their treasury essentially as a proxy for access to compute and really quick access to compute as well, right? Because they can essentially use that token to quickly come onto our platform or deploy compute via an API. And then be able to use it within the DAO within their sort of like AI agent swarm. So I think that's one angle that I'm like really excited about in terms of where I see the future of AI agent swarms evolving, how we'll kind of likely see them be, um, kind of like really sort of like break out into the mainstream with kind of like some, like killer use cases. And I think us at IONET, we're essentially trying to ensure that the underlying decentralized infrastructure is ready for when that AI agent swarm vision becomes reality.
Wow, awesome. Thanks a lot. So over to you, Vlad. Tassif touched on uh, agent swarms impact on DAOs. Would you like to like talk about other sectors where AI agent swarms can create an impact?
Yeah,
Was that a question for me or for a second?
For Vlad. Vlad,
Okay.
yeah.
yeah. For me, there is like a lot of different aspects, not just like Web3, but also outside of our typical. Because we are always, like head down in Web3, but there is a world outside of this, obviously, and this is something um, apart from what we've talked about Rome or any like AI, Oracle and stuff that's been strictly Web3, but we also have like an enterprise based product, which again focuses on creating like it's basically a multi-agent system which focuses mainly on um, legacy system for enterprises and businesses and how you can identify any workflows and processes that they already have. So the main idea here that we've been seeing is that it's hard for these big enterprises to change to a new system which is more AI agent friendly, or they need to incur like really big changes in their internal system to make everything there like AI ready. And what we're building with this specific product is focusing on creating some sort of, you can call it like an operating system on top of what they already have. So it's more of a custom based solution for businesses that they can integrate, and this doesn't affect any of their regular day-to-day activities that have been doing. And most of the benefit here is it's low cost for them compared to changing their whole system. They don't need to stop their businesses. Like their businesses can keep running while we're doing all the implementation. And at the end, we're also bringing more autonomy and efficiency in their day-to-day tasks and making every decisions faster, completing of tasks quicker as well. So yeah, it's for me, this is kind of like another step that we are taking that's been really exciting for me, how we're bringing blockchain tech and AI tech that's for us has been strictly blockchain related, how we can bring it to the outside Web2 world.
Awesome. Okay, so we spoke about the current time, and for the long term impact, looking 5 to 10 years ahead, what do you both hope to achieve through the partnership between Rivalz and IO.net, and how can both organizations contribute to a future where identified services and decentralized compute are standard across industries? It's a question to both of you.
Yeah, yeah, I can go first, right, in terms of where I see the longer term, impact of this and kind of like vision of this that we're thinking of. I think, for us, really, the broader vision has been to kind of enable open, permissionless access to decentralized compute that's completely censorship resistant, and to make it as easy as possible for any AI/ML developer or startup out there to get access to compute and build what they need with AI. And that really is kind of, I kind of see a world in like 5 to 10 years when every form of compute is plugged into a network like IONET, like whether it's sort of independent data centers, whether it's sort of like gaming rigs, all the way to, like autonomous vehicles and like smartphones and things like that. Every form of compute is optimized and plugged into our network. And not only is it plugged into our network, but sort of like the ways to really present and service this compute has evolved in a way where anyone who wants to, whether it's like a developer or an AI agent, who wants to actually sort of cluster together and access that compute can do it very easily within seconds rather than like minutes or days or hours. Um, and I think in 5 to 10 years, right now I kind of mentioned AI developers and startups, but and I think this is kind of where the work Rivalz is doing kind of really comes is in 5 to 10 years, I actually think a lot of the utilization of this compute economy will be driven by AI agents rather than AI developers, right? Like I think AI agents will probably be a factor of 10, 100,000x the utilization of compute in the future than what we kind of see with just humans today. So I think in 5 to 10 years, that's kind of really where we want to get to, and the type of vision that we're trying to build towards to be able to kind of sustain and manage and deliver to that type of AI agent use case and workload.
Yeah, I'd like to share my take, guys. Hi, my name is Alex, CMO of Rivalz. Only now got the chance to speak. So first of all, both of our projects were really big and really passionate about AI and the future towards which we're building and going to, right? So that's very, very cool that we're working in synergy and building things that we are very passionate about. So, and that means we can work mutually as well. So, like Rivalz, we're focusing on being like the biggest, the main platform for building, managing AI agents, while IONET is just the top choice for anyone who needs shared compute power, right, for multiple AI needs. And the more we advance into the years, the more I think people will required to use IONET services. So you guys are definitely not going anywhere, and neither are we. And I'm really excited to see where the next 5 to 10 years take us, because together, yeah, we can create a big, bright AI future, more powerful, easier for everyone, transparent, authentic, cheap as well, right? Because that's the current struggles for many. So yeah, we're hoping that in 5 to 10 years, everyone's lifestyle will be different, simplified, that we are going to be able all to make things much more effective for everyone, cost effective as well. And yeah, really looking forward to that future. These next 5 to 10 years are going to be probably the most interesting and revolutionary for AI development, especially in crypto. So yeah, I'm glad that we are in this industry together.
Thanks a lot, Alex. Um, I think yeah, we are nearing the end, and it was a really insightful space as well. We touched on industry challenges and how I.net and Revolve solve those issues, overcome those challenges as well. And then we spoke about the long term impact of the partnership. And thank you everyone for joining. See you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.